What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Marco back with it again. Is that the sun coming out? Yes, sir. The clouds is out for a minute. We smooth today. We good with it. Got the essential oils working for your boy. On the face looking smooth. Got the pick in my hair like I'm in the 90s. I got my mind on my money and my money. Yes, sir. But the main reason I wanted to create this video today is to give a huge shout out and to give a huge congratulations to the class of 2020. For the ones that will be graduating in May, and for the ones that will be graduating in fall of 2020, whether you're getting your master's, your bachelor's, or your PhD, I want to say that I'm proud of you, and I know everybody around you is proud of you as well. And definitely during this time of the COVID-19, the pandemic, I'm here with you. I know that you guys are very, very down, and I can't say I know how it feels, but I definitely want to be here with you guys because I know you're not going to be able to get a physical graduation and things are going to be done virtually. But I'm going to tell you that you should be very proud and happy of yourself for the point that you've gotten to. And if anybody that I know ever wants to talk, if you want any insight, any game, if you ever want someone to chat with, definitely hit my line. You know where I am. So as you move forward during this time, definitely reflect back to your college experiences and look at all the points that you've been through to get to this point. And so whether it's the negative things, you got to look at those a lot of times as well, and the positive, because you got to see what position was I in during this time, and then how did I get through. If it's a positive moment as well, how happy was I in this time, and how much energy did I have during this time to help me to get to this point. Because a lot of times in our lives when we move forward, we have a lot of things that we may go through, and sometimes we put ourselves in the mindset that we were in when we were getting through that thing previously that was even worse. It'll help us get through those small storms that we're going through now. And so one thing that I really want to do is to give y'all that real, that true insight, with this video. And so once you graduate, the real stuff hits. And so one misconception is that once you graduate, you're definitely going to have a job, everything's going to be set for you, and you're going to know exactly what you want to do. That's not true at all. Some people, they may have, the job that they're getting into, they may know what they want to do, because they may be in a program that's leading them in that direction, or they may have had like an internship or co-op that may have gotten them some experience so they know what they're leading into. But the average person doesn't know, what their next route is, what they want to do next. And I'm here to tell you that that's okay. For myself, I graduated last year. I was a graduate in May of 2019, and I was a fifth-year senior. So I had a lot of my friends that graduated before me, and a lot of people I knew that graduated, a year before me. And even still to this day, some of them don't know exactly what their route is, what they truly want to do. And the reason being is because we have this misconception, and we feel as if once we graduate, we know, like I said, we know exactly what we want to do, or feel like we have to move in this certain direction once we graduate. And I'm here to tell you that take things slow and don't feel like you're on anybody else's time. The only person's time you're on is yourself and on God's timing. And once graduation, once you get to, your reception, and once you are even in the place now as to where you're trying to figure out what you're doing next, take small steps into figuring out what you like to do, what interests you, and what's going to make you most happy. A thing for myself, I can even go into my story. Last year, before I graduated, I was working for a company that I had been with for 3.5 years. I was killing it. I was beast mode, one of the top in the nation for the whole time I was there. And so towards the end, I had in my head, I had a plan. I had written it down. I had a certain amount of money I wanted to have saved. I had certain areas that I wanted to move to, and I had the certain job field that I wanted to get into. And so towards graduation, everything was hype. I was good. I feel like I was golden because I already knew the plan that I had written down. And I felt that everything was going to go exactly that way because everything looked promising. But, a couple months after graduation, during that time I had been applying to different jobs, and then, some of them were trying to pay very low, and some of them, they weren't really promising me really anything that was exciting me to move. I wanted to be in a good position as well when I moved. So I wanted to be able to not be so much in a struggling position once I move forward. And so, I had to turn down, some offers, and I had to turn down, some different positions. And, I had to make the decision that was best for myself, because I knew that if I took some of those positions, I probably would be in a miserable place. So also for that job that I was working, ended up getting fired from that job. And so during that time, during that period of all of that, this is probably 3 or 4 months after I graduated, I'm still not knowing what I'm going to do next. At this point, I'm unemployed. I had been employed during pretty much my whole college career. I don't know what the next steps are. I'm questioning a lot of things. I'm confused. And then even moving forward, I'm still in that position. I'm moving back home for a little bit to save up money. And I'm still like, man, I don't even know what the next steps are. And so even to now, this is we're in May of 2020. And then I'm pretty much now starting to maneuver into the stages of, some areas in which I can get involved in which I'm getting employment. And so it just goes to show you that sometimes, even though you may have this plan, and even though you push so hard to follow through with it, sometimes a lot of times everything isn't going to go exactly how you plan. And a big thing that helped me to get through, even during that time of graduation, of post-graduation, I've had a lot of conversations with people that have been successful entrepreneurs, that are successful entrepreneurs, that are doing things that they love in life. And a lot of them have even said that, man, I didn't expect to be in the position that I was in when I graduated college, when I was trying to write up my plan. I didn't expect to be in this position at all. But what I had to do is, keep pushing through and keep finding ways to grow within myself. And that pretty much came on its own. And so I was thinking to myself, man, a lot of times I'm sitting here trying to rush these situations and rush my plans and rush these next steps, that I'm not even taking into account some of the growth that I can put in between to get to those next steps. And so, for instance, when I moved back home, something I did a lot in college was, I cooked, and I found a love for cooking. And so I'm like, man, I don't even know if I can really do that anymore. I don't really know really much that I can do to keep myself occupied, but I started to cook even more. I started to find different things like, producing and making beats. I started to, read a lot more. I started to become more intellectually inclined with myself. And that put me in a position to think outside of the box and think on even a more successful level than I've thought about even before graduation or during my college times. And what this helped to build was character, positivity, and prosperity for myself. It helped me to put myself in a position of manifestation, because by getting that mindset, it helps me to understand that the process may take a little longer, but if I keep pushing through and I keep growing during this time, that when I get to that point, God's going to put me in a position to where my accomplishments are even greater than what I even thought. And so what I'm here to tell you is, during this time, look at it as a point to grow. For a lot of you, you're confused about what you want to do. You're confused about, what your next avenue is. Start with things that you like and that you love. Whether, even if it's something as far as, gardening, or if as far as doing some community service work. If it's something that you like, my theory is that those things can eventually turn into something that you love, or things that you want to do. Because a lot of times when we're younger and when we're even growing up, a question that we don't get a lot of times, even if we're interviewing with places or anything like that, is, what do you like to do? And I think a lot of times that can stop a lot of confusion. That can stop a lot of confusion in our paths of us trying to figure out some areas that we may, want to get involved with. Because if we like to do this already, then we're going to have some fun and we're going to have energy towards doing this. And so if you like it and you continuously do it, and it's something that you find even more ways to get creative with it, you find even more ways to get engaged with that, you're eventually going to love that. And so, for instance, when I got into my sales job during college, I was like, I don't really know about this. but it's something that I'm interested in. I love technology. I feel like I'm a really good salesman, so why not try it out? And so I liked the process, and so it eventually turned into something that I love to do. And so as I move forward and I kind of have my goal, now I'm getting into a tech sales role that'll help me to open up myself and to be into a much farther level than I would have expected at the time. But it's about continuously trusting that process. Again, I was telling you guys that I do the cooking, and I was able to get more of an audience during this time of quarantine, a lot more than I even did in college, just from people being able to react to the pages and being able to react to my posts, because I was able to continuously push myself and check out those different avenues. So what I want to tell you is that during this time, yes, it's going to be confusing. Yes, it's going to be very frustrating. And what a lot of people are going to try to convince you is that, you're going to get this high paying job. You're going to get this job that you're going to love when you get out of college. And to be truthful with you, those expectations are BS. And those, when you come to the realization of your process, it's just not true, because so many things can come into your life and can interject and can intervene that can switch things around. You may be in a position to where you never thought you would be in, and you may take a route that you never thought that you would be in. But don't just depend on this degree to get you that job or to get you to this next step. Don't feel like that this degree is just you walking down a tunnel, and once you get this piece of paper, you got a golden ticket that's going to help you to get to that next step. That's not true. Once you get through that tunnel, there's going to be 10 different tunnels you may have to choose from, and you may go down tunnel A over here, and that may be the wrong tunnel. You may have to backtrack and eventually get down to tunnel D and E. You have to take those steps and truly figure out what excites you, what makes you happy, and figure out, where you want your next steps to be. Again, I'm with you. I didn't know what my exact plan was going to be. After my first plan, was demolished, and I had to just retract back and say, man, Marcus, what's going to make you happy? And even if it's something that is going to be temporary, that you get involved with, look at the bigger picture. How can this help you to get to your next steps? For those goals and those dreams that I have, how can some of these things that I get involved with now help to fuel those next steps? How can this help to be a rewarding experience to make that next step be an even bigger reward? So look at it like that. I know this is a long video, but I just want to be transparent with you and be honest with you. I know this is a crazy time, but don't follow the hype and thinking that you have to have everything figured out, that you will have everything figured out, and that you'll know exactly what you're doing. But trust in the process, trust in yourself, and definitely talk to God and be there with your thoughts, and be there with the conversation, because He'll be there for you. It may be a trial to where He's telling you, you have a lot to work on before I put you into this next step. Once you get into this next step, look at it as a time for you to be able to grow and to be your best self. Like I said, it's been almost a year for me even getting into, some next steps, and there's a lot of things that even happened in between there, but trusting the process, and then also working in the process. You can't just wait for it to happen. You got to go out there and get it done. You've got to go out there and make it happen, because if you just wait on it to happen, it's not going to come. You can't just wait for it you can't just wait for the process to do. You got to be a doer of it. You've got to be a doer of the process. You have to make small steps, whether it's just reading a book every single day. You may not have a job for a certain period of time, but the book is going to give you education. It's going to help you to manifest, because you're getting that intellectual that intellectual experience. You're figuring out yourself. You're figuring out ways to enhance your mindset, enhance your creativity. You're taking small steps. If you just sit around all day and you don't take any steps, you're selling yourself short. So again, congratulations to everyone. I hope this helps you very, very well. I know it's long, but to those that feel that it's meaningful, I know that you'll watch all the way through. I know that I don't wish I had this this knowledge kind of moving forward, but it's good to have people that will take the time to give you this type of knowledge. So I hope you take it very well, and I love all y'all, and I hope that you have a blessed day and blessed days moving forward.